I think for me, especially making a career in sports broadcasting and just like being a reporter and trying to find my way in the space is I just like you go to journalism school or you go to a broadcasting college or maybe you kind of get into it at some point and I just so often just felt had this emotion of like I just wish someone would tell me what to do, like tell me where to work,
Yeah.
tell me what job to take, tell me how to get a job, tell me how to navigate it, like even down to tell me what to wear because no one even tells you that. Like what should you be wearing on camera or not?
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know. I hope that this gives at least some like clarity to that for people who work in sports media and broadcasting, or maybe they want to take a similar or adjacent career path to me. Is like even just some guidance. Because like you think about it, so many other careers are very step by step based, whether that's through your college path or your degrees, or it's just very laid out for you. And there's so many ways to skin a cat. And the more ways I have heard of how people made it, it makes me go like, oh, okay, I could have taken that path, or here's why this worked for me, or why this held me back. And I didn't
Mhm.
even know it at the time, except by trial and error. So I hope this helps people like navigate their trial and error of their like career, and it's just like relatable. There's nothing I love more than getting around other people who work in sports and just yapping because we speak the same language and we go through the same things in all these different workplaces. It's so similar. So yeah, I think it's like for us. It's for the people who work in this.
100%. I think like the way I think about it is there's just this huge network of people who've worked in sports, like the young professionals, and even like the legacy professionals. And there's usually, I feel like there's not that much in between. You've got the people who've been around for a very long time, and then you've got like the younger side of the workforce that's like coming out
Like
of
fresh
college
out of
into sports,
college.
fresh out of college. And I feel like sports evolves so rapidly that it's kind of hard. I remember being in college and going to classes, and not that I felt like I didn't trust my professors or that I felt like they were out of touch, but it was hard to relate to them because the way that they're telling stories, like the way that Jeff Darlington is telling stories about how he was getting the scoop at Florida, it's like those things, like
It
there's
would
just red
never
tape.
happen now. It
Yeah,
would
it
never
could never
happen.
happen now. So it's
Yeah.
it's really hard the stories are cool to tell and listen to, but they don't give you any type of like call to action to figure out like, okay, how can I implement this and like use this to try to move my career forward. And so I feel like for
Right.
us, like we just kind of we're on like the outskirts of like we are out of college, we're grinding in the trenches, we're starting to get traction, we're making moves, and now
We're
we
the
have a
middle
podcast. So
managers,
clearly
baby.
we're yeah, clearly,
Middle
everything is
managers.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah, nothing
Um,
like being middle management. But you don't hear from those people a lot because you hear from I would say, like superstars in the space, whether that's a reporter or a videographer or a creative director. You hear from the people who have like really made it, even though I do feel like if you live your dream, you have made it. Um, but you don't hear from the people who are in the midst of like I can't even wrap my head around like how much advice can I really take from someone who's working a Super Bowl because it's like we're so far apart now, and so I don't know.
And I
Maybe
think a
it'll help.
lot of the way I see it on the video side, I think a lot of people who are in those positions use their experience and take advantage of those that are looking forward to it by being like, I shot the Super Bowl, so come pay to take my course so that I can teach you how you can shoot the Super Bowl. When in reality, like that's not how it works. No course is gonna guarantee you like a spot like on the Super Bowl media staff, I promise you.
Right.
So it's really like it's hard to know like who to really trust. And to me, you know, I heard a quote once that was like the best managers are not people that want to be managers. Um, they're those that are really good at their job, but realize like they are the ones that need to be the managers for the sake of pushing things along. And I kind of feel like that ties in with our whole intention behind this podcast. Like, do we want to like, are we really like that narcissistic where we want to just like record ourselves yapping and talking? Maybe like a little bit, not enough to actually do it, but I think there's a big incentive for us to give back and kind of try to give that guidance to people that is extremely hard to find, especially for free.
Yeah. I feel like such a big realization for me this year was a couple different reporters who throughout the year just very genuinely reached out to me just to hear how I got to where I'm at now. And in those conversations and just getting to know them and asking them about their experiences and stuff, I was so consistently hearing, like, no one's ever told me that before. Or, oh, I've never considered that before. Oh, I didn't know how that works. Like, I just remember just fumbling around in the dark for so long. And sometimes I still feel like I'm fumbling around in the dark because I don't have it all figured out. But I just wish someone could have helped me take what I might call like a sophomore step. Like, I just wanted to step into that, be feeling like a sophomore in my job. And that I think is one of the hardest ones, is that step.
Fully
Getting your
agree.
first job is so hard, but taking that second one to get out of entry level and into something maybe a little bit more meaningful or a better fit, it drove, I mean, just even,
Impossible.
I remember us just gnawing at our enclosure. Give us an opportunity.
Anything, please, anything.
Please give me a job. And then now
Yeah.
you have, and you're like, oh, it actually turned out everything was going to be okay.
And it's so funny because when you're in that entry level position and people tell you, listen, everything's going to be okay, especially because people can see it in you, like those that are maybe at a director or VP level, like they can tell that you're going to make it. And, both you and I were on the receiving end of hearing things like that. You guys are going to be fine. You guys are going to
I
be
was
all
like,
right.
if you say it one more
I was like, you say it again. I'm going to freak out. So, because it's not what you want to hear because it's not constructive and it ultimately doesn't solve
no.
your problem. But man, once it actually happens, you're like, wow, I was like crashing out for nothing. I should have trusted the process. I don't think you realize how long it takes to really move up. You know what I'm saying? In the sports level, like, I mean, I knew people that were in director level, VP level roles like 3 years out of college. In sports,
Crazy.
that is incredibly rare. Incredibly rare.
Yeah. It's like my friends who, especially during that period of my life, who I talked to that like worked in engineering, and they're like getting promotions and they're like on a track to like be the next thing and the next step. And if they do these things, then like they get more money and a new title. And I'm just like,
You're still an intern, like, oh my God, I'm gonna be in poverty
I'm
tax bracket
still
for
a
the rest of my
minion.
life.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip. For more on sports media and working in the industry, subscribe to the How to Cook a Goose podcast.